What's up guys, welcome to another video. So today I'm going to be talking about a concept called real full draw, and I want to explain the difference between just merely getting to your anchor position and what many people term as full draw and what we call real full draw and how this can help you in your shot. So first of all, a lot of people have been taught that full draw is just a description for someone who has reached their anchor position. So what I mean by this is many people will see someone shoot, and just because their hand is alongside their neck, along their jaw at the anchor position, and the string is touching their nose and their face, they'll say, oh, this archer is at full draw. But this is not what we call real full draw. Now, what I mean by this is, yes, the archer has got to the position of full draw in terms of their hands and the string, and they've drawn their bow, but they're not properly ready to shoot the shot. And this is really key. They're not ready to shoot yet. Because if they then expand through the clicker and they try and do their expansion, if you're not at real full draw, this expansion will cause movements of your body or of the bow that you don't want. So a lot of people have this feeling when they shoot, and a lot of people experience this. They get to what they think is full draw, they try to expand, but when they expand, it maybe pulls the bow to one side. They'll see the sight start wobbling more, or maybe the bow arm will want to move a certain direction, or maybe the draw elbow will want to move down rather than correctly around the body. So there are different things here that can happen, and this is often a cause of not properly getting to real full draw. So what do I mean by this? Now, real full draw can be thought of as more of a feeling of readiness and being inside the bow than it is an absolute position. So I'll repeat that again. It's more a feeling of readiness and being completely inside the bow than an absolute position. There is an element of positioning to this, obviously, and this will vary from person to person, but real full draw is that moment where you feel like you can expand in the correct way and there won't be extra movement from your body or from your arm or your sight that is going to distract you and possibly cause an execution error and lead to a soft shot. So this is a key thing here. Now, we can describe the feeling of being inside the bow with just a handy demonstration with an elastic band or a TheraBand. So I'll just show you that now. So now I've got a simple band, and I'm going to show you what the difference is between just appearing like you're at full draw and actually being at real full draw. Now, if you bring this band and you tie it around both of your hands, as you can see here, then as you move this band, you make your arm straight and you move this band, you can just hold it out in front of you here. Now my arms aren't along my sides yet, they're just in front of me. And this band is easy to hold, but I couldn't hold it here forever. The force is pulling my hands together and I'm not using the alignment of my body. If I then continue expanding, it gets harder and harder because I'm making the band longer. This is effectively like drawing your bow. If you then reach a certain point, there's a maximum point where you can then bring the force of the band closer to your body and the force goes straighter through your shoulders and through your joints. And this is effectively like drawing the bow and getting to proper alignment and real full draw. So if I come here, again, I couldn't hold this forever, but then if I do a little bit more and bring the band in, maybe to here, then I can hold this much longer now. I could almost just stay here for hours. All the force from the band is going through the body, and this is the difference between just getting to full draw with the hand and having not proper alignment. So, getting to full draw and maybe this elbow is out of line. Now, this is the difference between this and then bringing your alignment properly round and getting to real full draw with your elbow and with your scapula. So that's the key difference there. Now, in this situation, as I explained before, if you're out of line here and you try to expand, the force of your expansion is going to try and pull your bow one way or the other. Compare that to coming in and coming around properly. When you then go to expand, the forces are more in line, as with the band example. And now when you expand, it's much more likely that the sight is going to remain stable, the bow arm is going to be more stable, and then when you shoot, there's going to be less chance of a jerky shot execution or the sight pin moving one direction. So that's really, really important. So although I said there wasn't a particular position for real full draw, there is definitely a need to have good alignment, and particularly to have the draw elbow in line with the arrow. Now what I mean by this is when you then draw the bow, if this draw elbow when viewed from behind is outside the arrow line, so if this draw elbow is outside the line of the arrow like this, that is going to make it much harder, almost impossible to get to real full draw. Amongst the world's top archers, one of the most common things is this draw elbow is in good alignment with the arrow, or maybe slightly past the arrow. So this is a key part of getting to real full draw and really getting that inside the bow feeling. The demonstration I did earlier with the band, that feeling is not really possible if the draw elbow is out of that line. So that's a key part of this. Now, getting to the real important part of this, and this is what I highlighted at the beginning of the video, is how do you come to full draw and continue moving and have that expansion whilst it looks like there's stillness from the outside, and then also you want the sight to be still and you want your body not to move. And this is the really important part of this. So there shouldn't be a pause when you come to full draw. There's no stop. There's no come to full draw, then move and then expand. But you must do something the same way each time to make sure you get to real full draw. By drawing the bow, you bring the hand to the anchor position, and that doesn't mean you're at real full draw. You then have to do a certain step that's the same every time to get to real full draw. And this step might be a certain feeling for different people, but generally it revolves around moving the draw elbow further into line or further around the body. And this is a key part of that. So this stage must be exactly the same every time. You must do it on every shot, and this will make sure that you go from your anchor position and then you reach full draw properly. And this is the key part of this. So you can think of this movement to get you from your anchor position to real full draw. You can think of this as similar to a car approaching a corner. Maybe you're going at a certain speed along a straight part of the road. Then when you get to the corner, you have to slow down, change direction so that then you can accelerate out of the corner. Now in the same way, when you then get to your anchor position, often you have to slow down because obviously you drew the bow a lot faster than you're going to expand in a second. So you have to slow down and change direction. And what I mean by that is you've drawn the bow and come to your anchor position, and then the focus is more on bringing the elbow round the body and getting to real full draw. So think of it more as a change of direction rather than pausing and then continuing the movement you had, or just continuing the movement straight through, because that's what causes a lot of people a lot of confusion, because they think, how can I just continue the same movement? I was drawing the bow, and if I just continue this movement, I'm just going to draw like that. I'm just going to continue shooting straight through. So it doesn't really make sense to a lot of people. So make sure you think of it as a change of direction, and this change of direction is the common movement that you do on every shot to get you from anchor to real full draw. Now, what's the best way to learn about this? How do you learn the real full draw position? How do you learn how to get there? How do you do this consistently? And this is going to come down to a few things, but basically bow training is great for this, and then drills are great for this. And I know what a lot of you are probably thinking,
oh Ash, you always give the same advice. Oh, it's always drills.
Well, there's a reason for that, and that's because bands work. Doing drills with a TheraBand and with a light bow, it works. There's no two ways about it. There's no secret sauce that's going to make you be able to suddenly get the perfect technique with your 50-pound bow. I'm sorry, but it doesn't happen. The secret here is A, hard work, B, repetition, and C, doing something that you can manage and then transferring it to your normal skill. If you played an instrument and you were learning to play this instrument, you wouldn't try and play a complete piece of Mozart's symphony the first time. You'd have to start slow and build on the skill. And then eventually when you get to that full skill of playing the symphony, you don't play it at full speed either. You go through slower, and then you build up, and then eventually you get to full speed. And this is effectively what a light bow and a band is allowing you to do. and also allowing you to build up the strength and prevent getting a nasty injury. So that's key to do that, really. So to get to real full draw, there's often a few common movements that a lot of people find really help them. Probably the most common one is that once you get to your anchor position, the elbow should move around the body. So you should draw to your anchor position, and then a lot of people find that focusing on moving their elbow around the body, so they're moving the elbow along the shooting line this way, so I'm going to exaggerate this way, around the body, it really helps to get that final part of the alignment and get to real full draw. Some people find that focusing on squeezing between the upper and the lower arm on the draw side really helps too. And there's a great drill that I'll just put above here, which is, I call it the arrow in the elbow drill, where you can make a device that helps train for this as well. Some people also find that getting a coach to place an arrow on the back of the elbow here, on the back of the arm, really helps this feeling of moving around the body, and I'll place that drill up there as well. So these are some good ways where you can learn how to do this, and then also just doing the full master holds and then the finger holds in terms of bow training are really good for getting that real full draw position and allowing you to really strengthen the muscles, and then also just find the correct position where you're really in alignment. So these are really good ways to do that. Now, I mentioned the analogy of the car changing direction to turn a corner, and I wondered what your best analogy is for explaining this movement to get to real full draw. I'd love to hear your analogies or your descriptions of this in the comments below, especially if you found that these have helped a lot of archers to get the feeling when they weren't sure what it was before. So let me know in the comments below about that. So thank you for watching this video. As always, be sure to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and you can also get involved on social media, on Instagram and Facebook, and the links to that are below too. Until next time.